Closed captioning for this program is brought to you by Lone Wolf, your silent partner.
This week, we join Ian Sparks in Kansas, where he shows us that you don't need to have big pieces of land to kill big bucks. Like other states in the Midwest, Kansas has become one of the most popular states to hunt giant whitetails. Land is getting harder and harder to find, but thinking outside the box can put you in a sweet location where several big bucks roam. If you have that piece of land where there are just a few does hanging out and no bucks, Ian will show you how taking advantage of trail cameras and being patient can pay off.
Whitetail Properties is a team of land specialists spread across the country, specializing in selling hunting and farmland. We do more than just sell land. We show you the way to grow, hold, and manage for mature whitetails. These are time-tested and proven tactics that can only be learned from years of experience and the shared knowledge of an entire team amassing hundreds of thousands of hours in the field each season. It all begins at the turn of the year when the antlers drop. Then comes getting the groceries in the ground. Time spent in the field scouting year-round is key to learning the land. With the turn of the leaves comes the harvest of the crops. This is when the Whitetail Properties team spends countless days in the field, and all the hard work pays off in big ways. All of this is to help you turn your dreams into reality. Whitetail Properties, your hunting and farmland specialists.
Whitetail Properties is brought to you in part by Bear Archery, Winchester, Reconics, Whitetail Institute, Scentlock, Yeti, Can Cooker, Hunter Safety System, Scott Archery, and by the Quality Deer Management Association.
Growing up in Iowa, Ian is not inexperienced when it comes to hunting mature whitetails. With several years of bow hunting under his belt, Ian knows a lot of different tactics to find these giants. Even with hunting in Iowa most of his life, there are some differences when hunting south just a few hours.
One issue I ran into the past few years I've been hunting Kansas is land access. It is getting harder and harder every day throughout the country, and not just there. After losing several pieces of property every single year because I could not afford a lease, I had to think of alternatives as to how I hunted and where. As you may not know, Kansas is a state where it is legal to bait deer. To many hunters, it is an unethical thing, but to me, I found if it is legal, why not do it? Throughout the years past, I had to travel at least 20 miles each way to get to my nearest farm. As I lost farms, they either got farther and farther away or right in my lap. Don't get me wrong, some of these farms that were far away held some great deer for the area. But I was now mainly just worried about my budget and trying not to eat another tag. Took initiative this past deer season to start putting out some corn and placing reconics over it to see what I had been missing. Deciding to dedicate my entire season into this one farm told me I had to be patient and not to waste my time until a shooter showed up. This farm was maybe 10 acres in size, and not only that, it was right outside of city limits. As I checked my cameras week after week, I noticed there were the same 4 does coming in to get corn. And as the saying goes, if you know where the does are, you know where the bucks will be. Could not have held more true. These small pieces of land work, not because they hold big bucks, but because during the rut, big mature bucks are on their feet searching for hot does. When you have a mature buck show up on your camera, you know the time is getting right. Get yourself set up and be patient, because at any moment a giant could step out. If you go in too early, the does can feel pressured and move out of the area, leaving no reason for the bucks to even come through. This is a huge part of making a small piece of land successful during season. This is why patience is key when going after a mature buck.
As the cameras ran and the corn was put out, a small basket-racked 8-point showed up on camera. This is not exactly what he was looking to go after, but it raised his hopes tremendously after 3 straight months of not getting any bucks on camera. Now it was just a matter of days before the big boys would start showing up.
This portion of Whitetail Properties Television has been brought to you in part by Yo Buddy 3D Portable Targets. The party is over now. It's time to hunt. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
I'm just a simple man, not a man who asks for much. All I want's a picture of a deer. I get nothing but blurry pictures, Steve. I've tried every camera, every one I know of anyway. I know there's some monsters out there. It's gotten to the point everyone thinks I'm crazy. We'll show everybody, and then they'll believe us. Blurry!
Don't go crazy. Get a Reconyx. A mature buck can detect an imposter at 400 yards. So why take a chance with any old scent? Tink's Hot Shots eliminates problems found with ordinary aerosol bombs. Its bag and can system separates the scent from the propellant, so the scent is not diluted or contaminated with other chemicals. While aerosols may contain as little as 33% lure, Tink's Hot Shots spray 100% pure scent, 100% of the time. Tink's Hot Shot. Don't bomb your hunt.
To be successful in the field, you need dependable gear with the best technology. You need Scent Lock with carbon alloy. We've added zeolite and treated carbon to our powerful activated carbon, extending the scent control spectrum further than activated carbon alone. Carbon alloy delivers an unmatched odor-absorbing system designed to give you the edge to get closer and keep your adrenaline pumping. Carbon alloy is making you and Scent Lock the deadliest combination.
Welcome back to Whitetail Properties Television. This portion of the show is brought to you by Realtree.com, the premier online hunting resource.
As time went on, and I kept checking cameras, there was this one broken up buck that was showing up on a regular basis. I had several bigger ones on camera, but they were gone within the next 48 hours. This one deer in particular, though, stayed around for a solid week, and I even saw him chasing off a bigger buck in the field. There's no doubt he was very aggressive because my trail cameras were showing less pictures of big bucks once he had arrived. He had several points broken up, he was not going to score well at all, but if I wanted to crack some of these big mature deer in years to come, he needed to be taken off the farm. I was not sure how old this buck was when checking cameras, but I knew he was aggressive. So I told myself if he walked by me, I was going to take him.
On November 21st, Ian went in with his hopes high, but as the day progressed, he didn't see any deer.
Day 2 was one of the worst sits I've had in my entire life. I got there plenty early in the morning and still had a positive attitude, but the weather was something I did not prepare well enough for. I sat all day expecting a buck to come cruising by any time, but it never happened. The weather was ridiculous. There was one point where I went to rattle and realized I was covered in a layer of ice. These are the days that really test you as a hunter, because most hunters would stay home thinking the deer would be bedded up. From my experience of past years though, I've seen some of the biggest deer in the nastiest weather. The third day was finally when my luck was about to change. The front had moved through and the winds had decreased. As it approached sunset, I had the same group of does come through that I'd been monitoring all season. Not 5 minutes later, I had a great looking 8-point walk by at 5 yards, but he was not quite what I was looking for. He did exactly what I wanted a shooter to do. Day 4 was a day when all you can think about is, it's a waiting game. You never know what will walk by if you're sitting at home watching TV and relaxing on the couch. The weather had warmed up to around 35 degrees and the wind had shifted to the northeast, which was absolutely perfect for this set. Now we're into the hunt. I hit the horns together, and within 1 minute, I heard leaves crunching. I looked over to see that broken up buck standing right there. As soon as I laid eyes on him, I knew immediately that I wanted to take him out of the herd. Of all the deer that could come into rattling, of course it would be him. Such an aggressive deer that wants other bucks to know he's the boss.
This portion of Whitetail Properties Television has been brought to you in part by Chestnut Hill Outdoors, the ultimate food plot tree. Stay tuned, we will be right back.
Want to attract more deer and grow trophy bucks on your property? Well, here's a news flash. You don't have to spend big bucks to learn how. We're the Whitetail Institute of North America. We've spent decades researching and developing products specifically for whitetail deer. Call us today and we'll send you 7 Imperial Whitetail seed packets and a free copy of our Producing Trophy Whitetails DVD. All you pay is $9.95 shipping and handling. The Whitetail Institute of North America. Research equals results.
Over the past 5 seasons, I've personally taken over 1,000 inches of antler out of my Banks blind.
I used my Banks blind to shoot a 205-inch Kansas monster with a muzzleloader.
I shot a 204-inch Iowa Giant with a bow for my Banks blind.
After 30 years of hunting, whether it's been with a gun or with a bow, Banks stump blinds have been the most effective way of killing big, mature whitetails I've ever experienced.
To learn more about the most effective way to kill mature whitetails, go to BanksOutdoors.com.
This portion of Whitetail Properties TV has been brought to you by the Non-Typical Wildlife Solutions Hot Zone Deer Exclosure System, the best dual perimeter fence on the market. Stay tuned, we will be right back.
Now we're into the hunt. I hit the horns together, and within 1 minute, I heard leaves crunching. I looked over to see that broken up buck standing right there. As soon as I laid eyes on him, I knew immediately that I wanted to take him out of the herd. Of all the deer that could come into rattling, of course it would be him. Such an aggressive deer that wants other bucks to know he is the boss. He did exactly what the 8-point had done the day before and walked right under me. He then proceeded to the corn where I had my trail camera. Everything had gone perfectly up to this point. I had 3 cameras rolling at the same time, and now all I had to do was make the easy 15-yard broadside shot. In the heat of the moment, I did something I was always scared about. I rushed a shot. There is no easy part to self-filming. It is probably one of the most difficult things I've ever done while hunting. Trying to make sure the deer is in frame and getting that pin on him before he walks out is a giant mess. Trying to mentally prepare yourself for this is almost impossible. As I saw the buck run off and replayed the shot over and over in my head, I knew it was bad. He stood there 75 yards from me for a minute, trying to figure out what had just happened. With the big flap of meat hanging down, I was not sure if the shot was fatal or if I just injured my first deer with my bow. As soon as the buck walked into the trees, I started thinking about what should I do. My first instinct was to back out and come back in the morning. But with the steer walking in, almost directly downwind from me, and not knowing how far he'd go before he bedded down, I decided to wait a half hour before climbing down. I then walked out into the middle of the field, avoiding the area where the buck had gone, and then I called a couple friends to see what they would do. We came back the next morning. Like every hunter that has put a bad shot on an animal, your stomach is in knots, and you cannot sleep that night. After immediately finding blood, I thought it'd be an easy tracking job. But man, was I in for a big surprise. After tracking more than 2 hours, I had to give up. We found several beds, still no deer, and the blood was running out. My buddy Nick knew the deer was around somewhere, so I called my friends Chase and Daryl to continue the search as I packed my car up because I had a family Thanksgiving meal 4 hours away. Only because of my great friends did I ever recover this buck. The biggest surprise then happened when I received a phone call saying to get over to the farm because the buck was still alive. I then showed up and finished the buck off. My Kansas deer season had finally ended in success. After a couple months of putting corn to them and watching the trail cameras, a buck had finally showed up and made a mistake. Everything I'd hoped to happen had taken place. The deer read the script perfectly, from taking the right path to walking in front of the cameras, presenting me with a shot. Not much footage was captured in those final moments because everything was packed away, and on top of that, being in a huge hurry and having to take care of a deer. The ending of the story is something I'll never forget. Having friends that love hunting just as much as you is something great to have. There is no way we could have ever found this buck if it had not been for them. I'm just glad to see that the story had a happy ending and I was able to fill a freezer. That concludes the season, guys. Thanks for watching.
This portion of Whitetail Properties Television has been brought to you by Brunton, the real deal. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's just after daylight. The air is crisp and the waters are cold. Soon enough, the skies will come alive. Until then, your calls echo through the silence. You wait patiently, your senses in overdrive. There they are. Blindside heck shot. Stacked. Fast. Deadly.
We've always been told that practice makes perfect, but even the best archers make mistakes. So why leave perfection to chance? If you can sight in your bow at 20 and 30 yards, Trophy Ridge's exclusive smart pin technology will make it mathematically impossible to be inaccurate out to 100 yards. One arrow, one target, one goal, one chance. Smart pin technology, only at Trophy Ridge.
Welcome back to Whitetail Properties Television. This portion of the show is brought to you in part by Big & J Long Range Attractants, powerful attraction and nutritional supplement. Located in Monroe County, Iowa, this 357 acres is simply breathtaking. You simply won't find a nicer hunting property. It offers the perfect mixture of beautiful hardwood timber, fertile tillable ground, deep hollows, creek bottoms, brushy bedding areas, funnels, pinch points, and secluded fields. Perfect for food plot locations. It also sits in the middle of some of the best habitat in one of the best counties in Iowa. Multiple entrances from the north and south make for great access, along with a good trail system throughout the farm. The future owner of this property will be able to grow, hold, and harvest trophy whitetails on a regular basis. If you're looking for a heavily timbered property in an area with fantastic big buck genetics, this property is what you're looking for. Give land specialist Rich Baugh a call to set up a private showing. Located in Edwards County, Texas, the Turkey Creek Ranch consists of 1,700 acres of excellent cover and habitat, towering live oak trees, winding creek beds, and fertile soil in secluded places for multiple food plots. Electric and water are located on the property, making for great building sites. A good road system offers access to the entire ranch. Minerals are available with the purchase of the property, with it being located in the Permian Basin, one of the most sought-after locations for oil production. The rugged terrain and numerous elevation changes offer very scenic views, as well as great habitat for whitetail deer, axis, quail, and an abundant turkey population. If you are looking for a great hunting ranch with income possibilities, this is a must-see. Give land specialist Ryan Koonsman a call to set up a private showing. These featured properties have been brought to you by Lacrosse Footwear.
Today we've witnessed proven management strategies that have provided Rich a wall of trophies and pride in watching his son Parker follow in his footsteps. Rich is fortunate enough to own a fairly large farm in a great area. However, it doesn't necessarily take a large farm to hold and grow big whitetails. In fact, a high percentage of our clients that practice quality deer management own less than 200 acres. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Whitetail Properties has been brought to you in part by Bear Archery, Winchester, Tinks, Whitetail Institute, Rocket Broadheads, Scott Archery, Can Cooker, Trophy Ridge, Banks Blinds, Hunter Safety System, and by the Quality Deer Management Association. Additional support was provided by these fine companies. All maps for the show are provided by Huntera. Until next week, take a moment to check out the Whitetail Properties webpage, the premium resource to find that hunting and farmland you've always dreamed of.